I never thought my life would turn out like this. Under these blinding lights, surrounded by cheers that don't feel real, I can barely remember why I started fighting in the first place. The bell rings. My gloves are heavy. The world blurs into fists and sweat and noise. But inside, I'm empty. Every punch I throw feels like I'm trying to hit a shadow I can never catch. My opponent goes down, the referee lifts my arm, the crowd roars, and I feel nothing. Nothing at all. When I step outside, the city night is cool and sharp. Neon lights hum above the quiet alley. I pull off my gloves and breathe, finally alone. Then I hear it, a small, trembling voice. Mr. Sutta, I love you. I freeze. My name, from a voice so pure it almost hurts. A little boy, maybe 6 years old, stands there clutching a small autograph book to his chest. His eyes are shining like stars. Behind him stands a tall man. Broad shoulders, calm eyes, quiet presence. The kind of person whose strength doesn't need to be loud. I look at the boy, then at the man. My heart skips. My stomach twists. Something about the man's posture, the height, the stillness, it reminds me of him. My stepfather. A ghost from a life I buried years ago. My throat tightens. I take a step back before I even realize it. The man notices and lowers his gaze, not offended, just careful. The boy, though, doesn't seem to notice my panic. He bounces on his toes, smiling up at me. You were amazing, Mr. Sutta. You punched like a superhero. His words make something inside me flicker, small, fragile. I haven't been called amazing in. I don't even know how long. I kneel slowly, take the pen he's holding out. My hands are still shaking from the fight, or maybe it's not the fight at all. What's your name? I ask. My voice sounds softer than I expect. Haru, he says proudly. I come to every match with my daddy. He points back at the man. The man nods slightly, giving me a small smile that doesn't reach his eyes. He really looks up to you, the man says quietly. His voice is deep but gentle. I hope that's okay. I nod, trying not to flinch at the sound of his voice. It's calm, not harsh. Still, my muscles stay tight, like I'm waiting for a storm that isn't coming. It's fine, I say, forcing a smile. Thanks for watching. I sign the notebook quickly, my handwriting messy. Haru stares at it like it's treasure. I'm gonna show this to my friends, he beams. They all think boxers are scary, but you're not scary, Mr. Sutta. You're sad. His words cut through me. He doesn't mean it cruelly. He's just honest. Kids always are. I don't know what to say. I look down, then up again, but they're already walking away. The boy waves one last time. Bye, Mr. Sutta. I'll come again. His voice echoes down the street. And just like that, the world is quiet again. The next week, he comes back. And the next. And the next. Haru always runs into the gym after my training, still in his school uniform, carrying a little box of snacks or juice packs. You need energy, right? My daddy says snacks make everything better. He sits on the bench while I cool down, kicking his legs, talking endlessly about school and friends and cartoons. Sometimes, his father waits outside by the door, scrolling through his phone, never intruding. Always polite. Always calm. I keep my distance, but somehow, I don't mind the boy. He doesn't ask for anything. He just talks. And for a few minutes, I forget the silence that usually follows me home. One evening, after everyone's left, Haru hands me a small, folded paper crane. I made this for you. Daddy says people who fold cranes are wishing for something. I turn the paper crane in my hands. It's crooked, uneven, but full of effort. What did you wish for? I ask. For you to smile more. He says it so easily, like it's the simplest thing in the world. Something in my chest cracks open. I try to smile for him, and for a moment, it's real. His father watches from the doorway. When our eyes meet, I freeze again. He doesn't speak, just nods once, a quiet acknowledgement, and walks away with his son. That night, I can't sleep. The smell of sweat, the sound of gloves hitting bags, the echo of that little voice, it all swirls together. I remember being his age. Back when my father still smiled at me. Back before he changed. Before he came. I push the memories down, but they keep clawing their way back. The smell of alcohol. The sound of a door slamming. The feeling of being small and useless and terrified. I shake my head, press my hands over my ears, but the echoes don't stop. Days pass. Haru keeps visiting. And slowly, I start to wait for him, though I'd never admit it out loud. He tells me about his school trip, his favorite color, how he wants to be a boxer, just like me. You shouldn't, I tell him. It's not as cool as it looks. You say that every time, he pouts. But I can tell you like it. Even if you don't smile, your eyes shine when you fight. I want to tell him he's wrong, that my eyes don't shine, they just burn, but I can't. Because maybe he's right. Maybe fighting is the only time I still feel alive. A month later, there's a small local match. Nothing big, but Haru insists on coming. He sits in the front row with his father. When I step into the ring, I see him wave both hands, excited. And for the first time in years, someone is cheering for me, not just at me. I fight harder than usual. Not for the win. Not for pride. But because someone believed in me. When the match ends, I'm bleeding from the lip, but smiling. Haru rushes over after the crowd thins. You were so cool. Daddy said you're the best one here. His father stands a few steps behind him, hands in his pockets. There's that same quiet strength again, not threatening, just steady. He offers a small nod. Good fight, he says. You've got a strong heart. I look at him. The lights catch his face, and for a second, my chest tightens again. I still can't look at him for long, but I manage a faint smile. Thanks. He turns to go, and Haru follows. Just before they leave, Haru turns back and waves again. See you next week, Mr. Suda. And then they're gone. The gym empties. I sit alone on the bench, wiping blood from my lip, feeling strangely calm. That's when I hear it. Two men talking near the lockers. He's really changed, huh? After everything that happened with his family. Yeah, that mess was all over town back then. Poor kid. The sound of my name. My old name. Not the one I use now. My breath catches. My knuckles tighten around the towel. No, they can't know. That name was supposed to be gone. The air feels thick. My pulse pounds in my ears. I stand slowly, trying to steady my breathing, but the world around me starts to fade. The sound of gloves hitting bags, people laughing, footsteps, all gone. All I hear is one name. His name. The one I thought I buried. It echoes in my head over and over. That name. I thought I buried it. I drop the towel. My hands are trembling. My vision blurs. And then from somewhere behind me, quiet, almost like a whisper carried by the night. Suda. I turn. But there's no one there. Just the empty gym, and the ghosts I swore I'd left behind. The gym is silent. Everyone's gone home, but I'm still standing there, staring at nothing. The sound of that name won't leave my head. My stepfather's name. The one I promised myself I'd never hear again. The air smells of sweat and metal. The flickering light above hums quietly. My breath trembles as I pull off my gloves, one by one. I whisper to no one. It can't be him. It can't. But my hands won't stop shaking. I sit down on the bench, bury my face in my hands. The room spins. It's like the walls are closing in, the way they used to back then. My chest tightens. My lungs refuse to pull air. The echoes in my mind get louder, laughter, shouting, a door slamming. Then I hear it again. That low voice, the same one that used to freeze me. Suda. Don't make me repeat myself. My heart stops. I look up fast, but there's no one here. Just the shadow of my reflection in the mirror. The next morning, I train alone. The coach says nothing. He's used to my moods. Every punch I throw feels heavier. I'm not hitting the bag anymore. I'm hitting memories. The smell of alcohol. The trembling of my hands. The feeling of the floorboards under my knees when I begged him to stop. I hit harder. And harder. Until my knuckles split. Blood dots the sandbag, bright and red. Enough. A voice. Not the coach's. It's his. Except it isn't. I blink, and I see Daichi, Haru's father, standing near the entrance, holding a towel. You'll tear your hands open if you keep going, he says quietly. I look down at my knuckles, raw and trembling. I can't even feel the pain. He walks over slowly, careful, like he's approaching a frightened animal. He doesn't touch me, just places the towel nearby. You okay? He asks. Yeah, I lie. Just needed to clear my head. He nods. Doesn't push. Doesn't ask questions. Just sits on the floor across from me, silent. After a while, he says, You fight like someone running from something. I flinch, then look away. Maybe I am. We all run from something, he says, his voice low, steady. Just make sure you don't lose yourself on the way. I want to tell him that I already did, years ago, but the words won't come out. That night, I can't sleep again. The city outside my window glows with cold blue light. I sit by the window, staring at the rain as it slides down the glass. Every drop feels like a heartbeat I can't control. And then the memories come. slowly at first, like fog seeping under a door. The first time he came home drunk, I was 14. He smiled as he walked in. My father, my real father, had left years ago, so I didn't know what a normal home felt like anymore. The man my mom remarried, he was charming at first. Polite. Brought me candy, told me to be a good boy. But that night he was different. His eyes were glassy. His smile was sharp. He called me useless. Said I was a burden. Said my mom was too soft on me. I remember standing there, frozen, as his hand hit the wall beside my face. The sound was louder than thunder. After that, it never stopped. He controlled everything. When I ate, when I slept, when I spoke. And my mom, she just watched. Sometimes she cried. Sometimes she told me to just do what he says. The world became small, just that house, that man, and the sound of my own heartbeat screaming in my ears. I wake up drenched in sweat. My hands are shaking again. The rain outside hasn't stopped. I grab my jacket and step out into the night, hoping the cold air will drown out the noise in my head. The streets glisten under streetlights. I walk without thinking, until I find myself outside the gym again. It's closed, but the door to the side office is still lit. Coach is there sorting papers. He looks up. "You okay, kid?" "Just needed somewhere quiet." He nods. "You've been jumpy lately." "Something happened." "Just old ghosts," I mumble. He studies me for a moment, then sighs. "You know, I don't need to know the details. But whatever you're fighting, don't fight it alone." I nod weakly. But the truth is, I don't know how to do anything else. A few days later, Haru and Daichi come to the gym again. Haru bursts in like always, waving a little lunchbox. "I made you rice balls. Daddy helped with the seaweed." His joy is contagious. For a moment, the air feels lighter. "Thank you," I say softly. "You didn't have to." "But I wanted to. You always look tired." He opens the box proudly. Inside, the rice balls are uneven and lumpy, but perfect. Daichi leans on the doorway, smiling faintly. "He insisted," he says. "Said you needed a friend." I glance up at him. For once, his presence doesn't make me flinch. "Maybe he's right," I say. Daichi raises an eyebrow, a hint of a smile. "Then I guess we're both lucky." Haru doesn't make friends easily. We share a quiet laugh, small but real. For the first time, I realize his laugh isn't sharp. It's warm. And it doesn't remind me of my past. It reminds me of peace. That night, I find myself thinking about them. About how Haru's laughter fills empty spaces. About how Daichi's silence feels like safety. I hate that it scares me, this feeling of wanting to trust. Because trust always broke me before. Weeks pass. Spring turns to early summer. I start to sleep better, just a little. Then one evening, it all comes crashing down again. The mail slot clicks. An envelope slides through, landing on the floor of my small apartment. No return address. Just my name written in neat handwriting I don't recognize. I sit there staring at it. Something cold crawls up my spine. When I finally open it, a photograph slips out. At first, I don't understand what I'm seeing. It's a newspaper clipping. A picture of two people smiling. My mother. And him. They look older, softer. Like time has forgiven them. The headline reads, "Local couple returns from abroad, rebuilding their family." My hands go cold. I read it again. And again. Every word feels like a knife. Rebuilding their family. The family they broke. The one they buried when they left me behind. My vision blurs. I can't breathe. They're alive. They're back. And they're pretending nothing ever happened. I drop the photo. It flutters to the floor, landing face down. My whole body shakes. It's not fair. They get to smile. They get to live. While I'm here, still haunted, still broken. I punch the wall. Once. Twice. My knuckles split again. Blood streaks the plaster. I slide down to the floor, trembling. "Why now?" I whisper. "Why can't they just stay gone?" But no one answers. Just the quiet hum of the refrigerator. The faint sound of rain against the window. I pick up the photograph again. This time, I notice something new, a small mark in the corner. A fingerprint. Old. Smudged. But familiar. Someone else must have touched this before it reached me. Someone who knew. A chill runs through me. Maybe this isn't just chance. Maybe someone wanted me to see this. The next day, I barely train. The coach watches me carefully. Even Haru seems to notice. "Suda," he whispers, "did something bad happen?" I can't lie to him. But I can't tell the truth either. It's just someone I used to know came back. Do you miss them? No, I whisper. I wish I could. Haru frowns, confused. Then why are you sad? I look at him. His eyes are too kind, too pure. Because sometimes, I say softly, the people who hurt us the most are the ones we once called family. He doesn't understand, but maybe one day he will. When Daichi comes to pick him up, he notices my bruised hands. You're bleeding again, he says quietly. I shrug. I'm fine. He doesn't believe me, but he doesn't push. Instead, he says something unexpected. If you ever need to talk, I'll listen. Something in his tone makes my chest tighten. Not pity, just honesty. Why? I ask. He looks at me, steady and calm. Because I know what it's like to live with ghosts. For a second, we just stand there. The hum of the gym lights. The faint sound of traffic outside. Something fragile hangs between us. Not words, but understanding. I want to tell him everything. But my throat closes up. So I just nod. Thank you. He gives a small smile. We'll see you next week, Sutta. That night, I sit alone again. The photo lies on my table, beside my torn wraps and bruised gloves. I stare at it for a long time. The longer I look, the more something inside me changes. The fear is still there. The pain, the anger, the shaking. But underneath it, something else begins to stir. Not hate. Not even revenge. Something deeper. I need to finally end it. You took everything from me, I whisper to the photograph. But not this time. I fold the photo in half, slide it into my pocket. Outside, the city glows, alive, restless. I walk into the night, not sure where I'm going. Only knowing one thing. This time I won't run. The city never sleeps. Neon bleeds through the rain. The pavement shines like glass, reflecting every light and lie. I walk without a destination, only purpose. The photograph is folded in my pocket. Every step feels heavier, but I don't stop. For years, I ran from their shadows. But tonight, I want to face them. When dawn breaks, I find myself standing outside the gym again. The doors are still locked. The streets are empty except for the faint hum of early trains. Inside, everything smells like home, sweat, dust, the faint sweetness of chalk. I take my hands, wrap them tight, and start hitting the sandbag. One hit for every lie they told. One hit for every bruise I hid. One hit for the child who never got to scream. Blood stains the wraps, but I keep going until my arms tremble. Then I stop and breathe. For the first time, the silence doesn't scare me. Later that morning, Daichi shows up with Haru. Haru runs toward me, waving a little notebook. Look, Sutta, I drew you fighting a dragon. I laugh softly, a real laugh, not the broken kind that sounds like pain. That's a strong dragon, I say. Did I win? Of course. You're the hero. I smile at him, but something inside me aches. Because I don't feel like a hero. Not yet. Daichi watches us quietly. There's something in his eyes, concern maybe or understanding. You look tired, he says. Rough night. I hesitate, then nod. I found something. About your past? I meet his gaze. He doesn't look away. They're back. My mother and him. Daichi's expression hardens, just slightly. What are you going to do? I don't know yet, I whisper. But I can't let them live like nothing happened. He studies me for a moment, then says quietly, whatever you decide, make sure it sets you free, not traps you again. His words settle deep in me. I don't answer. I just nod. That night, I sit at my table, staring at the folded photograph again. The newspaper headline mocks me. Rebuilding their family. I turn on my phone and start searching. Their names are easy to find. Smiling faces. Interviews. My mother saying things like, we believe in second chances. Second chances. But never for me. I scroll deeper until I find a business address, a local restaurant they opened downtown. My reflection stares back from the dark screen, tired eyes, scarred knuckles. For a long time, I just stare. Then I whisper, it's time. 2 days later, I'm standing across the street from their restaurant. It's bright and warm inside. People laugh. Music plays softly. And behind the counter, there they are. My mother's hair is shorter now. She looks older, gentler. And him, my stepfather. He's smiling, pouring drinks, shaking hands. Like he never once raised that same hand against me. I feel my nails dig into my palms. My body remembers, even if my mind doesn't want to. The sound of his voice. The sting of his words. You're worthless. No one will ever want you. The world tilts for a second. Then I breathe out, steady myself, and pull out my phone. If I can't destroy them with my fists, I'll destroy them with truth. I start collecting. Old emails, texts, hospital bills my mother forged. I track down an old neighbor who remembers the screaming. Another who saw the bruises. Piece by piece, I build the puzzle I once tried to burn. Days turn into nights. Every tap of the keyboard feels like a punch that lands clean. When it's ready, I send everything to a journalist I trust, the same one who once covered my boxing matches. He calls me immediately. Sudha, are you sure about this? Yes, I say quietly. I just want the truth out. He hesitates, then says, okay, but once it's out, there's no going back. Good. A week later, the story hits the front page. Former athlete exposes years of domestic abuse by local couple. Their restaurant shuts down within days. Their names vanish from social media. The city turns its back on them. For the first time, I sleep through the night. But peace doesn't come easily. Because 2 nights later, I get a call. An unknown number. A man's voice. You think you won, boy? My blood runs cold. Leave me alone. You'll regret this, he hisses. Then the line goes dead. I sit there in the dark, phone trembling in my hand. Old fear tries to crawl back in. But I don't let it. Not this time. The next morning, I go to the gym early. The air smells like sweat and dust again. Daichi is already there, helping Haru stretch before his kids' class. When he sees me, he smiles softly. You look lighter. Maybe I am, I say. He studies me quietly, then asks, did you do it? I nod. They can't hide anymore. He doesn't praise me, doesn't judge me, just steps closer and says, now promise me one thing. What? Don't let revenge be the only thing keeping you alive. His voice is steady, but it trembles just enough to sound human. You deserve more than that. For a moment, I can't breathe. Because no one's ever said that to me before. That night, it rains again. I'm walking home when I see flashing lights ahead, police cars. Curiosity makes me stop. The news ticker on a nearby screen reads, local couple killed in car accident. Investigation underway. The photo that flashes on screen steals the air from my lungs. It's them. My mother and stepfather. The headline blurs. My hands go numb. I don't know how to feel. There's no joy. No satisfaction. Only a strange, hollow quiet, like the silence after a storm. I walk the rest of the way home in the rain. When I reach my door, Daichi is waiting outside. He's drenched, holding an umbrella. I saw the news, he says. I thought maybe, you shouldn't be alone. I don't know what to say. The rain keeps falling between us. I open my mouth, but no sound comes. He doesn't move closer. He just waits. Finally, I whisper. They're gone. I know. I thought I'd feel free. And I just feel empty. He nods slowly. That's how healing starts. Empty first. Then space for something new. Something breaks inside me. The tears come quietly, hot and endless. Daichi steps forward, carefully, and wraps his arms around me. It's not tight. It's gentle. It's okay, he murmurs. You don't have to be strong right now. I grip his shirt and let myself fall apart. For the first time, I cry without fear. Days pass. The papers move on to new stories. The world forgets them, and me. But Haru doesn't. He still comes to the gym every week, shouting my name like I'm his hero. Daichi still watches quietly from the side, giving small smiles that warm the coldest corners of my chest. Slowly, life becomes something soft again. I start teaching kids boxing classes on weekends. I learn how to cook simple meals. I stop waking up in panic. Some nights, Daichi and Haru come over for dinner. We sit on the floor, eating cheap ramen and laughing about nothing. It's not perfect, but it's peaceful. Months later, there's another match, my first since everything ended. The stadium is smaller this time, but packed. When I step into the ring, I spot Haru in the front row, waving both arms, shouting, "Go, Sudha! You can do it!" Daichi stands beside him, calm, proud. I feel a warmth rise in my chest. The bell rings. The fight begins. Every movement feels lighter. Every hit lands clean. I'm not fighting ghosts anymore. I'm fighting for myself. When it's over, when my arm is raised again, the roar of the crowd feels different. It doesn't drown me. It lifts me. I look into the stands. Haru is jumping up and down. Daichi meets my eyes and smiles, small, real, and enough. And for the first time, I smile back. After the match, the three of us walk home together under the city lights. Haru holds my hand on one side, Daichi walks quietly on the other. The night air is cool. The world feels new. You're amazing, Sutta. Haru says. I just tried my best, I laugh. Daddy says you're part of our family now. Is that true? I stop walking. My heart stutters. Daichi looks away, embarrassed, but doesn't deny it. Something warm spreads through me, something gentle and unfamiliar. If you'll have me, I say softly, then yeah. I'd like that. Haru grins so wide it hurts to look at. He squeezes my hand tighter. Then you can't ever leave, okay? Okay, I whisper. Daichi glances over, eyes soft with something unspoken. Something like love, but quieter. I don't need words. I just smile. Later that night, after they leave, I sit by my window again. The same window where I used to stare into the rain, drowning in silence. Now the city lights look softer. Warmer. I pick up my gloves from the table. They're old, worn, cracked at the seams. But they carried me through it all. Through fear. Through pain. Through fire. I whisper to myself. You made it. Outside, somewhere in the distance, I hear laughter, light and young. Maybe Haru's. Maybe my own. I don't know. But it feels like home.